In March 2000, the first version of the PlayStation 2 was released, and over the years, iconic games like Crash Bandicoot became legendary. The series concluded its original trilogy with Crash Bandicoot, Warped, and the IP for Crash moved from Universal Interactive to Vivendi Universal. With the arrival of the new generation of consoles, developers had to work quickly. In 2001, Crash Bandicoot, The Wrath of Cortex was released, developed by Traveller's Tales and published by Vivendi Universal. Despite mixed reviews, the game sold 1.5 million copies worldwide, including 170,000 in Japan, making it a success for the company. Following this success, Vivendi split Traveller's Tales into two teams: the original team, which worked on The Wrath of Cortex, and a second team, Traveller's Tales Oxford. This second team was less experienced but had high energy and enthusiasm. They were tasked with creating a new Crash game with ideas that had never been explored in the series before. This game had to be on par with or even surpass the original trilogy. The project was supposed to be ready by the end of 2004, but delays occurred. Unlike The Wrath of Cortex, which followed a linear gameplay style similar to Minecraft, this new project, titled Crash Bandicoot Evolution, aimed to take more risks and introduce fresh ideas. Initially, the game was planned to have a darker tone, which was unusual for a Crash game. The story revolved around the evil twins, yes, the same ones from the final game, and their goal to collect the last piece of the gems puzzle to create a complete planet from what they had stolen. Development lasted nearly 2 years, but Vivendi decided to cancel the project entirely. One of the main reasons was the release of Ratchet & Clank, which had a similar storyline, and Vivendi wanted to avoid negative comparisons and accusations of copying. The entire concept was scrapped, and the resources invested were lost. However, the Oxford team, determined to keep the project alive, created a demo in just 6 weeks. Miraculously, it worked, and the project was revived. The team had to abandon the darker tone and make the game stand on its own, without trying to match the original trilogy. Unfortunately, they faced a new challenge: time. They only had 1 year left to develop the game. Despite the tight deadline, they managed to create Crash Twinsanity. Vivendi gave the team 1 hour to come up with a name, or it would default to Crash Bandicoot Unlimited. One team member, codenamed Space Cat, suggested the name Twinsanity, and the team quickly agreed. Finally, after a grueling development process, Crash Twinsanity was released on September 28, 2004. The game begins with Cortex explaining the concept of Twinsanity to Crash, and soon after, Coco calls for Crash to follow her, marking the start of the first level. You'll notice that the gameplay is more open world compared to the linear style of the previous 4 games. While you ultimately follow one path, the side exploration is refreshing, allowing you to find gems, which are mostly useless, or encounter Aku Aku, also mostly useless. The sound design is 100% mouth sounds with no background music, which is one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard in a game. As you explore, a creature gives you a quick tutorial on the basics and some mechanics. Every time it speaks, I feel like I'm losing my mental health. Finally, you reach a point where Cortex explains how he spent 3 years frozen after the events of The Wrath of Cortex. Crash still doesn't fully understand what's happening, but the important thing is the boss fight. The second boss fight, or Phase 2, is honestly one of the best in the game. The design is fantastic, and the gameplay involves running past saws and rockets while dodging attacks. I have no issues with this system. In fact, I consider it one of the best boss fights in the game. However, repeating the same cycle multiple times can get tedious. Cortex eventually decides to fight Crash hand-to-hand, leading to a new area, Lunatic Levels. The controls here feel both smooth and broken at the same time, but it's still fun to navigate through simple and chaotic obstacles. Eventually, Cortex finds a power crystal, which leads to the emergence of a drill from underground, accompanied by aliens. I have no idea what the writers were thinking, and I don't even know what I'm reading, it's just bizarre. After Crash defeats the aliens, Cortex secures the crystal, and the game transitions to the main hub, Twinsanity, where most of the game's